I just can't get enough of smiling friends. So I watched Pim finally turns green, which, spoiler alert, he doesn't. What he does instead is literally create life, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start from the beginning of the episode, which is a Christmas special. Charlie and Glep are building the worst snowman ever, which, yeah, that's definitely got to be the worst snowman ever. I actually found a post on Reddit where someone recreated it in real life, which is pretty cool to see. They name it Rotten because Alan said it looks rotten. Then Pim joins, I fucking love Pim, and says he loves building snowmen, so Charlie says he can add something to it. Pim, being the adorable critter that he is, picks up a daffodil and puts it right on top like a star on a Christmas tree. Except this daffodil doesn't make the snowman shine, it makes it literally come to life. Imagine you made a snowman and it came to life, that would be fucking terrifying. Anyways, we learn that the flower was growing in nuclear waste, which is how it gave the snowman life. By the way, there were other flowers growing amongst the waste, so they can actually bring anything they want to life. Seems like Mr. Boss didn't need that rock to bring his 18-year-old son back to life after all. The snowman questions what life is, and Pim says it's what he's experiencing now, which makes Rotten so excited. He's so innocent. Mr. Boss even threatens to kill him, and he's still smiling. Reminds me of the good old days of not knowing about the horrors of life. Damn, was it blissful. Mr. Boss then flies to the moon with his rocket shoes to Charlie and Alan's amusement. And they leave Pim, who's going to show Rotten the joys of life because of course he is, I fucking love this guy. After their montage of fun, the snowman reflects that being alive is fun. Oh, I remember those days, you know, when life was fun. Anyways, he sees a billboard and says he wants to go there, and Pim has to kill the poor snowman's innocence. He says that they shouldn't go to the beach because he'll melt there, and the snowman is understandably confused. Pim reveals that if he melts, then his life will end, and this makes Rotten scream non-stop. This marks the beginning of his existential dread. Philosophy time. Existentialism is about finding meaning for ourselves because we don't inherently have meaning or purpose. We'll get more into this topic later. The next day, the snowman is still screaming, and Pim thinks he may not have told him about death in the best way, so Charlie offers a solution. Bill Nye the Science Guy in a hot air balloon. Yeah, Charlie has connections. Bill Nye tries to make the snowman feel better by singing about how death is nothing to fear. You know, the circle of life. But then the balloon hits a power line and Bill Nye gets electrocuted and dies. Back at HQ, Charlie is mourning Bill Nye's death, which, I'm sorry for your loss, bro, I do the same. Mr. Boss says he can't stand the screaming since it's scaring away customers, which, are they customers since Smiling Friends is a charity? Whatever, semantics don't matter when, once again, Mr. Boss threatens to kill the snowman. Alan says if they take the snowman to the mountain, then he can live forever, and everyone compliments Alan on the idea. The boss reveals that Alan's the one who made the boss's boots from earlier, and everyone's amazed by Alan's intelligence. He made boots that the boss used to fly to the moon, like Alan is a literal rocket scientist. The new Bill Nye, one could say, RIP. So the guys take Rotten to the snowy mountain and tell him that he can basically live there forever. Rotten hears the word basically, and Charlie clarifies that he can probably survive for 1,000,000 years there, and that's basically forever. But apparently, 1,000,000 years is not enough for Rotten because he starts screaming again. Oh, the cruel reality of Mother Nature. The next day, a Yeti comes to HQ with the snowman saying that they left Rotten on his private property and
I had to take the day off work to bring him back. If I see you again on my property, I'm beating your ass. Hard.
Charlie says he was totally about to beat him up. Don't stop believing, buddy. Gleb says they can store Rotten in the freezer, and they all agree it's a good idea. So does Rotten because now he'll never die. Yay! Oh. Pim opens the freezer and asks how he's been doing, and Rotten says he's alive, but not really living. And if that ain't some good old-fashioned existentialism, I don't know what is. What Rotten is looking for is meaning, which, according to existentialists, we don't have by default. Existentialists also think that any meaning in your life can only be determined by you. That if you follow someone else's idea of a meaningful life, you're living in bad faith. This entire time, Rotten has been living at the hands of Pim and Charlie. Whatever they decide for him, Rotten doesn't question. He simply goes along with it. Again, Rotten asks for Pim's advice, and he says that life can be scary, but that's also what makes it exciting. He decides that he'll go out with them, and we cut to everyone having fun at the beach with the snowman in an ice cooler. He says his worries are melting away before getting knocked over into the hot sand. Rotten finally embraces death and accepts his fate as he melts into the sand, very stoic of him. He's come so far from the screaming snowman he once was, and all it took was some existential dread. And oh, what's this? Oh, he got reincarnated into a wave. So he gets to live forever after all. His screaming was for nothing. Reminds me of myself when I stress the day of a presentation and walk out thinking, that wasn't as bad as I thought it'd be. The boss is surfing on Rotten's wave. Oh, and Bill Nye's ghost is there too, just flying around. Charlie starts preaching about how much he loves his friends, sounding like a drunk girl at her 21st birthday party. The episode seems to have a happy ending, but wait, there's more. Rotten swallows a ship and the guys start to get worried. He grows in size, about to wash everyone away before the episode ends. Okay, hear me out. The ending perfectly ties together the theme of existentialism in this episode. So we know that existentialists think that we don't have an inherent purpose and we have to make it for ourselves. They also think that following a life path that someone else has laid out for you is living in bad faith. Well, when Rotten becomes a wave, he's finally following his own path. He doesn't ask Pim what to do anymore, he just does it. Since there's no inherent meaning in life, we get to decide what values to uphold. This can have positive or negative outcomes. In the case of Rotten, at first, he decides to use his power of being a wave for good by allowing Mr. Boss to surf. It's a fun activity that makes him happy. Later, however, he decides to use his power to destroy the boat and then everything else on the beach. This is just like us humans. As Jean-Paul Sartre says, we have a terrifying abundance of freedom. Since we are creatures that crave meaning, and since the universe doesn't give us a sense of meaning, we're forced to create it ourselves. That is a lot of power for a person to have, and all that power is terrifying because what if we choose to do something that hurts other people? This ending perfectly encapsulates this dichotomy. I hope now you can see why I love this show so much. It's seemingly simple and meaninglessly funny, but when you dig a little deeper, you can extract so much meaning from it. And also, Pim is the most adorable character in existence. Okay, bye!